Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. Ah, I just sat and soaked in a nice hot bath after putting in 5 hours on the property. Man, them cottonwood trees dump so many leaves it's not even funny. Helped install windows and did a bunch of other stuff and basically moved a mountain of debris from trees today. So there's a fireplace in the yard, or not a fireplace, but one of those old 70s flue things, the round saucer bottom, and then the hood, and then the chimney pipe. Tried to light a bunch of leaves on fire, and they started to burn and stinking and smoking, and then they went out, and the smoke coming from that was worse than a 1910 locomotive, and I thought, that ain't gonna work. Apple juice. That is one of my addictions. You want to know what, viewers? I had a wild thought go through my head today, and I am not one for conspiracy theories, but all this crap about Obama and Google and the media and everything's got me just kind of maybe connecting the dots to something. It's interesting. For those of us who believe in the Bible, we believe a one world ruler is coming who's going to bring the whole world together. And he's called the Antichrist. Some people think Barack Obama is it, and I don't buy that. I think that Barack Obama's too stupid to be the Antichrist. He doesn't have that much charisma. But I was thinking about Google today and the frustration it's causing a lot of viewers. People are writing me saying that they're not allowed to comment on a lot of comments. And I've noticed that too, that if somebody leaves comments on my site, but they're not hooked up with Google, there's no reply option. I'm like, well, what is this? Let me throw out a couple of things, actually a few things, and let's tie the loose ends together, shall we? It was said by many that way back when Barack Obama won as president, that he wanted to shut down conservative talk radio. The other day I was at work, and one of the liberal Democrats, go figure, on the back of his truck, it says, "Stop Fox News. It is wrecking America." And I have a hard time out there in society because I think, are people really believing this crap? That Fox News is ruining the country? That Barack Obama wants to shut down talk radio? Now, I started thinking about something. How do you control the internet? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's very easy. It's the same way that the Bell companies, Bell controlled the phones. The government demanded they break everything up, and they did. But guess what? They broke up, but little by little, people are swallowing up each other. Cable companies are doing the same thing. I saw Blockbuster said they're shutting its doors. I was like, wow. The government came in many years ago because of the railroads. Railroads were creating such a monopoly. For those of you that know history, they were buying up the property on either side of the tracks. They were controlling the towns. They were controlling the rent, and it was crazy. The government did a good thing. They said, hey, this is excessive. But how do you control the internet? How do you control all these people sharing free thought, talking about things? Let's talk about China. Let's throw this in. China doesn't want people getting on the web and sharing thoughts and ideas because China's been watching what went on in Egypt and other countries when people got on their cell phones and on Facebook and on the internet, started sharing, hey, you know what, let's revolt and overthrow this government. Ruh-roh. It works. But Google did not want to come into China because they didn't agree with China's censorship, porn and stuff like that. But Google's coming into YouTube now, and you got to log on with your email to get into YouTube. And then to look at your comments are posted. That hasn't changed. My viewers can still comment on my site, still leave stuff in my inbox. The notifications thing has gotten very difficult to read because all these comments people leave on my site is now in my notifications. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to read them on the site. Forget the notification, little bell icon. And a lot of people have had it with trying to keep Google out. They're jumping on it. And in the last week, I've had nothing but absolute frustration. I tried to upload a file photo on my profile and found I couldn't do it. I'm like, what is going on? And people wrote me this morning saying there is a problem. And people are going to other video sites to upload videos and stuff. I really hope I don't have to do that. I'd hate to take all this stuff that I've done and move it somewhere else. So I'm going to hang tight for now, but I want to say something. How do you control the internet? You get everything to go through one funnel. But let's talk about something America is not doing. America's not stopping porn. It's not stopping violence. It's not stopping Hollywood silliness and excessive spending and all that. The government likes all that. It's a nice distraction. It's a nice distraction. Get people caught up in addiction, get people caught up in Hollywood and pro sports, and the government says, they're going to go home and turn on TV and football and porn and this and that. The government likes it. But when people start expressing truth, whether it's truth about God, or truth about politicians, or truth about the corruption going on in our government, Mr. Obama doesn't want to hear that. Mr. Obama does not like that. Unfortunately, for him, there's a constitution that guarantees the right to free speech. For him to come right out and say, I'm going to deny the right to free speech, he'd have a revolt on his hands. So how do you do it? You start taking control, little by little. You start with political correctness. And that was going on before Barack Obama took office. You have the media start telling everybody to call homosexuality a sin, that's homophobic, and you start labeling people and branding them and ostracizing them and make the conservatives look like the bad guy. Another thing that you do, and this is happening in our country, and pay attention to this, viewers, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, PBS, NPR, CNN, all those, they're marginalizing Fox News. Fox News is telling the truth. I have listened to a lot of their broadcasts. Bill O'Reilly, Charles Krauthammer, and Hannity, and all these other things, and I'm like, boy, they're running some good programs on there. You go watch the liberal networks, and it's like, somebody's cute doggy, Britney Spears breast implants, and all this crapola and the spin doctoring of major political events. Not telling the truth. The problem in America today is the liberals control so much real estate. When I say real estate, I'm using that term loosely. I'm not talking about property. But they're controlling the airwaves. They're controlling the colleges. How do you get everybody to become dissatisfied with God and conservative thought? You tell them to go to college. You tell them to go to university. You teach them in universities that Christians are fools because evolution is true. You teach them that humanities, that Sigmund Freud was right, can't suppress the libido. How does this all come together? Google's taking more and more control. People are having nothing but problems with Yahoo. Yahoo's getting worse and worse. And you have to go through Google to get to just about everything now. If you want a search engine, that's the biggest one out there, I believe. They're not going to get control of the internet, quote unquote. It takes time. But if everything starts linking up, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, they've all linked up. And now they're linked up to Google. And Yahoo does it, and others do it. And guess what? Before you know it, you have everybody going through one filter, one funnel, and it's very easy for Homeland Security to start going, hey, listen to what this guy's saying about the government. Now, I'm not talking about viable physical threats of destruction to people and destruction of property. Pacific does not advocate that. Let me say this again to Homeland Security so they don't misunderstand me. I don't support, nor would I bring about a revolt against our leaders or property. I am against that. I will speak my mind, and I will say our President Obama is quite stupid and he is ruining our country, and I will say that he needs to go. Unfortunately, we have 2 more years of this lovely clown in the Oval Office. The bad news is that most people in America right now are at a point where they don't care. Why do I say that? They're busy earning their income. They're busy buying their toys. They're busy going on their vacations. They're busy having the comfortable life. And they just go, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Christians have even joined that. They said, well, the Lord will come and, I asked myself, can we do anything about it? I can say this. I think that everybody ought to leave a message to Google and say, hey, what are you doing to YouTube? You're screwing it up. What is the purpose of this? Now, I don't want to be falsely accusatory and say that Google's trying to censor conservative thought. I don't know that. I do know the media doesn't like it. I do know that secular colleges and universities and public school systems don't like it. It's interesting that public school systems have to deal with kids today that are just out of control. And they hate to admit it, but they're finding out that there's no discipline at home. There's no solid family structure. Huh? Wait a minute. But you're admitting something biblical. Bible supports discipline. The Bible supports family. Not my 2 mommies and not my 2 papas, but husband and wife. Yeah, they don't like to admit that too loudly, but they're realizing that, when the kids don't have solid family background, there's problems. So here's what I think. I know some people ran away with some wild thoughts. Some people thought that Obama was going to find a way to end term limits so he could keep running as president. Could he do that? It's possible. I look at the Democratic Party right now. They are sticking their heads in the sand on this healthcare thing. And let me say something, viewers. Many of you say, well, I want free healthcare. Hey, listen, if you're making $50K or more a year, you're not getting no freebies. If you're making what I'm making, I'm not sure what it's going to cost me. I'm going to take the fine this year. I can't even get on the site. I'm not even going to try. And I shouldn't have to. I want to go to an office somewhere where they can sit down and enroll me in it for free, because that's the way it should be, and tell me what the final damage is. And if it's too much, I'll just say, well, I'm not going to do it right now. When a president says affordable health care, what we need to start asking is affordable for whom? If somebody's making $20,000 a year and he's going to charge us $350 a month, that's not affordable. Do the math. 300 times 12 months? That's $3,600 a year, plus the $50 a month. Okay, we're looking at $4,000 a year for health care. Is that reasonable? $4,000 out of $20,000 leaves you $16,000. By the way, that $20,000 is gross, so the taxes have been taken out of that. Take rent in Denver. Rent is somewhere between $600 and $1,000 a month. So then you take your gas out, you take your groceries out, there's hurt near nothing left. The bottom line is, the way to destroy a people is to take a huge underbelly of Americans and keep charging them more and more stuff. Cost of living goes up, taxes go up, and now we're going to force people to buy health care that can't afford it, and you're going to have no more disposable income. It's zapped and gone. You have Google coming in and taking over YouTube and taking over this and taking over that, making it more and more complicated. Will they shut down Pacific? I have no idea. I have no idea at all. It's interesting that in the Bible it talks about the 2 witnesses in Revelation being killed by the Antichrist. It says their bodies will lay in the streets for 3 days, and the whole world, people from every tribe, tongue, and language and nation will watch and gaze upon their dead bodies. And I thought, well, how do they do that? The internet. They could just tune in, and the fact that they're going to look at that and go, ha, look at that, they're dead. But then on that 3rd day, they're going to see the breath of God enter them, and they're going to rise up, and everybody's going to go, huh? It even says they'll be giving gifts to each other about their deaths because these guys tormented the world by calling down curses. They're doing what God told them to do. So, will the internet go away? No. But will the internet be controlled by somebody? It's probably going to come to that. How bad is it going to get before the rapture of the church happens? I don't know the answer to that. But I will say this, and this is the express opinion of Pacific Ocean Asia, and this is not necessarily held to by my viewers, okay? But I believe Barack Obama cannot stand conservatives, cannot stand those that fear God. I believe Barack Obama is a megalomaniac with an ego that doesn't quit. I believe deep down inside of him, he has the makings of a tyrant if he was allowed to do so. If he was allowed to get away from running as leader of this country for as long as he wanted to, he would do it. I don't believe Barack Obama is an honest, straight up, good man. I believe he's evil to the core. I believe he's godless to the core. I believe that there are powers out there that do not like all of the free thought going on the online world. They know that it can cause problems if enough people get together and start talking. Are they worried about a guy like Pacific sharing his views? Not really. You start getting up into some big time numbers out there, they're going to start paying attention to these videos. I guarantee it. Will attract the attention of the big major liberal networks. And I told you before, and I'll say it again, I will decline any interview with any liberal network station. I will say no. And they will paint a picture of me, and they will look up people that know me, my ex-wives, who will say all kinds of crap about me. I know that. And guess what? I will smile and continue to make my videos and say, did you see all that? The power of the liberal press is disturbing. They could exalt a person or dash their reputation to the toilet bowl. So what is Google doing? I'm not sure. Does it look like they're trying to get everything through one filter? Perhaps. They're not shutting down porn, though. They're not shutting down violence. The government could shut down every porn site right now if it wanted to. Not that hard. They won't. The government doesn't care about porn. The government doesn't care about violence. The only violence they care about is any attack on a government official. That's the thing they want to stop. That's why Homeland Security goes nuts, controlling airports and controlling everything. But Homeland Security is not doing one damn thing about illegals climbing into our country. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that Homeland Security is not doing anything about gangs in inner cities? That they're not doing anything about road rage drivers that are a threat to my personal security? They're not doing anything about offensive, mofo rap music that encourages violence? Homeland Security is a joke, folks. The only thing it's doing is it has an agenda. Now, there was a rumor out there that FEMA was building these huge buildings. I tried to look online. I can't find anything about it. I figured, well, surely Fox would say something about it. People said, well, maybe Fox won't because they do know, and I don't know. Is FEMA really building these places big enough to house thousands and thousands of prisoners? Some people believe Barack Obama. There was a video released called the Obama Deception. I don't know if that was conspiracy theory or if there was truth. I know there was truth to some of it. Truth is stranger than fiction. There are times I get annoyed at what is going on in our government. Lately, I've been annoyed a lot. I don't like Google intruding in and constantly pushing us to do things their way. I'm not happy about that. And I just ask myself a question. Is this headed somewhere? Viewers, I don't know. What I can say, based on the Bible, the Antichrist clearly is not going to tolerate Christians. He's not going to tolerate the Jews. The Bible's very clear on that. When he declares himself to be God on a wing of the reconstructed temple in Jerusalem, Jesus is very clear. Let him who is on the rooftop not go down to the house to get something, but flee. Pray that you are not pregnant. Pray that your flight is not on the Sabbath. Why? Because the Jews hold the Sabbath as a day of no travel. The times when that happens is going to be utterly dangerous. And anybody who names the name of Christ, they're going to flee. There's going to be wholesale slaughter all over the place. Are steps being taken right now to head us in that direction? You better believe it. Why? Because the secular authorities are blind. They're being led by Satan, and they're only doing what Satan is helping them along with. They think they're bettering things. They think they're bringing about their version of utopia. No, they're not. Would Barack Obama like to shut down every born-again Christian that's talking about him, or every conservative? People who aren't Christians but that don't agree with him? You better believe he'd like to shut us down. He does not like it that there's a bunch of free individuals in this country that don't agree with his spin doctoring of everything. Obama does not respect or hold to our Constitution. He can say whatever he wants. He has proven himself to be a chronic liar to the American people. He's been doing it, and the Democratic Party is backing him up 100% on all the lies involving Obamacare. This thing is a mess. People are losing their health insurance in the millions. There's all kinds of problems with this. Here's something else to consider. We got a lot of old people in this country. Do you really think that our government's going to continue to fund for quality health care for people 70, 80, 90 years old? Do you really believe that? They will erode at that as well. And they will deduce it this way. The cost to the American taxpayer and to the government is huge. These people are not productive anymore. We're going to have to end their lives. Trust me, they will do it. This healthcare thing, when government gets in control of it, they're going to streamline this, and eventually certain people will be asked to take the shot or take the pill. Am I believing something false? No, I'm not. I don't believe Obama has the American people's interests at heart. I believe he has an agenda that is fueled by Satan. And I've said this in an earlier video that the Democratic Party is truly under complete and total control of the devil himself. I look at people like Hillary Clinton and I look at the poster children for the Democratic Party, and it is appalling and disgusting at best. Where are we headed? We're headed towards a one world government. When? I don't know. Many Bible scholars believe that the Antichrist is going to show up out of the revived Roman Empire and the European amphitheater. That tells me that America's power is going to be pretty much knocked sideways. I do believe that when the rapture of the church happens, there's going to be a lot of Christians disappearing from this country. How many? I don't know, but it's going to have a very possible crippling effect on things. How do you shut down the internet? You run everything through one filter or one funnel. If Google buys up this and owns this and controls that, and you got to go through them for everything, then they can set the terms and conditions. I think it is interesting that Google does not allow me. I put a picture of a woman on a profile picture who her nipples were poking through her blouse. And they said that that was flagged. And I was like, really? And I probably shouldn't have put it on there. I'm being honest. But I put it on the profile for YouTube. Google said that it violated their terms and conditions. I pulled it down, replaced it. What was amazing is that Google totally allows porn, and you can search for porn through Google and everything else. And I thought, well, how does that work? It is funny the hypocrisy of these corporations and what they're doing. I don't get it. Pacific has some gears rolling in his head, and I'm starting to think that I had a thought hit me. What if they just suddenly shut you down? I guess there's not much I could do about it. I would hate for this to end. I've been having fun with this. And I will tell you, a man, if he can still make money and get out of this country. And I don't think we should live in fear. The Bible says be anxious for nothing. I think things are going to really kick into overdrive when the church is removed, not before. But there are little weakenings and eroding of our constitutional ideals, and our rights are being stripped little by little, but I think that that's going to come about more after the church is removed. Because the power of the church, even though American cultural Christianity is really, really watered down and weak, we still are keeping at bay a lot of stuff. And once we're gone, there's going to be no stopping evil just rolling over everybody. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think, viewers. This is Pacific, signing off. Bye-bye.